Well, I got the DVD in yesterday in the mail. Lindsey Williams, 2015, The New Elite. So I watched it last night. And I told you I would do the biggest summary I could, right? Every little piece of information I want to get it from them. Give you the points, of course, but even little things that I might have left out before that weren't, I'm going to give it to you, But having said that, I've got that and that out of the video, and it's about an hour and a half long, I think. Not really much new information, as I think we all kind of expected, but there's a few things he'd mentioned, and no matter what, it'll be worth reading this. So here we go. In 38 years, the elite have told him things that have always come to pass. Sometimes not on the date, many times yes, but the things they told him have always come to pass. 2015 will be the year of some major events. He got an email from a friend, from his elite friend, and the subject was imminent danger. And he mentioned this a while back because he got this email a while back, and he put it on the LindseyWilliams.net website. And I think most of you have been following him, probably went and read the post or whatever. But so he mentioned that on his website, this imminent danger thing. So there will be more posts on that website. He says, I want to make it a point to let you guys know, him saying this, please check my website as we get nearer and nearer the 2015 date of suspicion, so to speak, right? September, October, because there's going to be, he'll be posting some more stuff. And he said, you may want to check back weekly as we get closer. I'm not going to say you should be checking it weekly right now. You certainly can. It's just a simple website. Go check it out, see if there's any new information. No big deal, right? Certainly can't hurt, because he's going to post information on the website as we get closer to that date. The New World Order is going to be brought in its entirety, and it should be starting this year at, you guessed it, the September-October time frame, when they pull off this economic collapse. Near future, banks crash. Watch the derivatives market, as he's been saying. This will be the event that triggers the collapse in America for sure. 5 banks, he says, the too big to fails. Basically all the too big to fails. He was talking about have at least $40 trillion in derivatives. I'm quite certain it's a lot more than that, but I'll go with his version. They have at least $40 trillion in derivatives. What is a derivative? As ridiculous as this is, picture someone making a bet at a casino, and you are on the sidelines with other people betting on that person's bet. How is that person's bet going to perform? So we're going to make an even larger bet, much larger than that person's bet, amongst ourselves, call it a derivatives contract, on his performance on that bet. How's it going to do? And if it fails, we're all out so much money, we're all bankrupt. So we don't want these bets to ever fail. And if those bets do fail, because they're the smaller bets, not our derivatives bet, just pump that, bail that smaller debt out so we don't get trouble. Thus the banker bailouts. In 2014, he says, he gave the month, I don't remember, but I remember this too. I did a video on it. I'm sure other people remember this. In 2014, the G20, group of 20 nations, 20 richest nations on the earth, right? The G20 nations declared banking deposits are no longer money. Your banking deposit is not money to them anymore. The money belongs to them You are just a depositor. He mentioned the Congress bill that I did a big video on myself, which I know y'all been around, several months ago, or more like a few months ago. I did this video. For you people brand new, you may not know this. But the video I did was about how our Congress just passed this budget bill. Last minute, we had to get it passed. And there was some fluff in that bill. And the fluff was the FDIC insurance is now responsible for any derivatives losses from any of these banks. And since there are trillions of dollars in derivatives that will be losses, the FDIC is on the hook for those derivatives. Now, if you look up the FDIC insurance, whenever you go to a bank, your bank plastered all over the damn place, FDI insured member FDIC, deposits FDIC insured. My money is safe. Well, it used to be up to $100,000, right? Then they changed it to $250,000 because they didn't want people getting nervous in 2008. It's safe, don't worry about it. And then at some point in time, they said that all deposits are safe. And then they removed that a good while back. And now it's back down to where it was, $250,000. However, on any given day, there's like only, somewhere around $50 billion, allegedly, $50 to $80 billion in the DIF fund, which is the FDIC insurance fund that pays out on bank losses when they collapse and that kind of thing. Have to pay out the depositors, their money back basically. And they usually make an agreement with another bank to tell them you get to keep the customers of that bank that failed and all their deposits, but you're going to have to kind of help us pay some of the losses if you want those customers. And most of the time, matter of fact, all the time, the bank, it's lucrative for the bank, so they always accept the deal. So they come in with, let's say, half the money that was needed to bail out the depositors, and then the FDIC insurance comes in and the other half and bails out it using their DIF fund, and everything's good. But we are talking about small-sized banks that fail commonly. We're not talking about these medium, and forget even the medium, the large banks, the too big to fail banks. One of those goes down, it's over. Entire DIF fund is gone, which then makes a certain law kick in, or a certain rule that is by law, on the books, which says that the FDIC insurance can go to the Treasury and get up to $500 billion, so $500 billion in like an emergency type of situation, so that they can help fix any banks that failed issues and your deposits, make sure you get them back. Because you have an agreement, not really an agreement, you're just told FDIC insurance guarantees your money up to $250,000 per account. So what happens when the 50, 80, whatever billion is wiped out immediately? They go to the Treasury, we need the $500 billion right now. $500 billion, $500 billion. Okay, that's gone. And what about the rest of you depositors who weren't in line quick enough to file your claim or whatever to get your money back? Well, they're going to say, see the agreement we made at the G20 back in 2014? Your deposit isn't really money anymore anyways. And also, see this law we passed, I think it was end of November of last year, 2014, where they passed this law. Maybe it was in December. And that the law was now the FDIC insurance is covering derivatives losses should they occur. And again, if they pass these laws, they always do it well in advance. They don't just have to do it right at the last minute. And then right after that, the CME group, which controls the commodities market, comes out with this rule. I also did a video on this. And the new rule is that if gold moves $100 an ounce on the market, which is an absurdly high amount to just move $100 in a trading day, much less 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 times in a trading day, they have circuit breakers that will kick in and stop the trading for X amount of minutes. And then when it turned back on, you can trade again. And if it hits $100, if it goes up another, or there's another $100 move, not necessarily up or down, right? It's both ways. The circuit breakers kick in again for a certain amount of time. No one can trade. Okay, turn it back on. Up, another circuit breaker triggered. Third one. Now we're down again for the next, set of minutes or what have you. And then the fourth and final one kicks in. That's it, according to the new rule. If any more circuit breakers, were to kick in, they're not going to. Because, in other words, if the market moves $100 again, after 4 times of tripping this so-called circuit breaker in a trading day, there's no more circuit breakers. It will just go where it's going to go. And I thought to myself, they're doing this because they know the price of gold and silver are going to skyrocket, and they need to put a clamp on it when this occurs. But on hindsight, what if they're doing this because they plan on destroying the stock market, or the gold and silver market, all commodities markets basically, or all commodities in the commodities market, and they can't just have it go from 1,200 to 0 that quick. They want to do it in increments so that it's, it looked like we did have some market regulations that were in place to help protect you people, and the circuit breakers were triggered, and you could have unloaded your contract when the trading session started again, and another circuit breaker triggered, and you could have did it again, and another one would trigger, but you didn't. And then the fourth and final trigger happened, and then the market fell out, and it's, $1,200 gold is down to $200, and $16, $17, $18 silver is down to $3, $4. It would be temporary. There's no question. But there are derivatives contracts that do control the price of gold and silver. So if the derivatives contracts are going to explode and blow up, naturally it's telling us everything is going to deflate in value, which could include gold and silver. And Lindsey Williams did say that in this video. It could, he said, but I don't think it will. But it could. And he said it doesn't matter, because where the price goes afterwards is all you're going to care about. And it's going to go way up. So I wanted to clear that little spot up about the 2 videos I did, and the fact that he mentioned the 2 things that I also mentioned. He did not mention the CME group changing the rules for gold and silver, though. I don't know if he knew that. But the Congress passing the law to allow FDIC insurance to cover derivatives loss, he covered it. So I wanted to make that a little more clear for those of you who didn't know that. So where was I? Everything is now in place for the New World Order to take. All the rules have changed. Everything they need is in place so that they can collapse everything, and the New World Order will step right in. That's what they want. U.S. Treasury spent $200,000 recently. I don't know if I covered this. I was well aware of it. I can't remember if I did a video. Spent $200,000, I think I did, on bug out meals and survival kits for the banking system locations all over the country, so that those employees, and I think it was not necessarily the employees of the bank per se, but employees that deal directly with the federal side of things. So you're going to have potentially a federal agent, so to speak, and I don't mean like FBI or nothing, but an agent that works for the government during a massive crisis. Each one will be assigned a bank. That's going to be your bank, that you're going to have to deal with things, and they're going to be on scene dealing with stuff, I guess. Lindsey did not say this. I'm just trying to think out loud. Why would the Treasury spend $200,000 on bug out bag and equipment like that with food and stuff to be given to bank locations across the country for just on standby? Well, if you had a massive banking collapse in this country, people wanting to bang down the doors and that sort of thing, you could potentially have armed federal of some type, armed treasury agents, yes, they do exist, at each location to deal with this. And since people are going to be like, oh yeah, we can't wait for you to come outside, can't wait for you to eat and drink, oh, I don't have to, I've got everything inside. A year ago, my government left it here for me, and I can stay here for, a month if I need to. Potentially that's what could happen. The fact that they did this is undisputable, because this is public knowledge now. Okay. The elite are not God. Some of them think they're God because they have so much control. And if they have their way, and he says, they're not God. They may not always get everything they want. There's a chance that some of the stuff they want may not happen. He doesn't think so, because everything that they've told him has always happened. And I'm going to have to agree. Two things he was told was that there's going to be, and I remember this from the last time he said it, violence in Washington. It does not mean the people in Washington, because they're, the government's in Washington, D.C., so the surrounding area with people are going to be violent and rioting and that sort of thing, although that could happen. His comment meant you're going to see and hear politicians in Washington, D.C., Congress, Senate, House, fighting physically because of some of the stuff that's going to be happening, and some of the members who realize this New World Order takeover is taking place, and a lot of their colleagues on both sides of the aisle, as they like to say, Democrat and Republican, are pushing with the New World Order. So there's literally going to be some fist fighting and that sort of thing that you will hear about. The other thing he says, which we kind of covered, a series of massive bankruptcies all over the place are going to be taking effect. Interest rates will be rising. And those two issues of bankruptcies and then interest rates rising equals the derivatives collapse, which will then trigger it. When the dust settles, precious metals will be all that's left that will be worth something. Everything else will be worth nothing. Again, as he used to say, anything that's written down on a piece of paper is going to be worth the paper it's written on. Probably not even worth that much. September, October timeframe. Most critical timeframe. Interest rates will absolutely be rising. Precious metals might go down, but he doesn't think they will. At some point, precious metals, will rise exponentially. That's funny because Alan Greenspan, former Federal Reserve Chairman, the top dog, recently came out to say the same thing. In the next 5 years, where do you see precious metals, sir? Basically, rising exponentially. So, does that mean we could see a loss in price in precious metals when all this goes down? I told you this recently, twice now. They could. Would I dare sell all my precious metals and chance that? Hell no. Do I even want to sell half? Honestly, no, I don't. I said this before and I'll say it again. Just as a security, in other words, what's the safest measure I can take, Jake Snipsmore, with the least amount of, risk? Hold on to your precious metals currently, no matter what you paid for them. If you have more cash on the side, and find a way to get some on standby, even if you have a credit card that's just sitting there doing nothing, and you hold on to it. And then all of a sudden, September, October, oh my God, it happened. Lindsey was right. Holy cow, this is brutal. Oh my God. Look at the prices. Oh my God, everything's crazy. Oh my God, look at gold and silver. They've been destroyed. Honey, get the credit card out. Dink. Go to your favorite place. I like to use jmbullion.com. jmbullion.com. How much can I get with $1,000? Oh, well, they're $10 an ounce right now. Do the math. What if they're $5 an ounce? What if they're $3 an ounce? And again, we're talking extremely temporary to where you have to jump on it, pounce on it, get that order secured, pay for it, and then just wait for your order to come in the mail. Is it possible that the big dogs are going to scoop it all up before you even have that opportunity? And they'll just say, I want everything you have in stock right now. Here's the price. And when you get more from the Treasury, I'll buy that now too. And they'll place the orders, and then you and I might try to get online. Oh, let me go to... Oh, out, sold 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 out. So now you've got this money on standby. I've got it. I need it. I want it. Sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. Now what? That's another risk. But at least you didn't sell your silver before to then take some money, extra money now, and then wait on it, and then now you can't get it. Again, risk and reward, it's not worth it. I never intended on telling people to buy precious metals to have them play a market scheme. Oh, buy low, sell high, buy some more low. No, this was for your financial livelihood to be saved when this event that he's talking about comes. So let's move on. When the dust settles, precious metals will be the only thing left. September-October timeframe, most critical timeframe. Interest rates will rise. Precious metals might go down, but he doesn't think so. At some point, they will rise exponentially. Do not sell, he says. Not inflation, but deflation is the game. Everything will deflate except for food. Food prices will inflate, according to Lindsey. So if he just said, not inflation, but deflation for everything except for one single item of food, naturally that would tell you, well, that sounds like precious metals might go down too. And again, if you want to chance that, you can. I wouldn't even make fun of you if you did, because I have information here from him that talks about all this stuff, and if you acted upon it, I wouldn't call you a fool. But again, I want to be the safest that I can possibly be with that. So I'd rather say, okay, I'll just use another credit card should the price get smashed. Plain and simple. And hopefully secure an order at that time. He says, recently, again, you can see the powers that be exerting their power, so to speak, but he says that this was from Obama personally. The recent drop in the Russian currency, known as the ruble, has been around 50%. Devastating. He says a while back, which he did say, and I looked it up and he was right, Russia had this huge amount of oil all of a sudden, and that they might even have larger than what Saudi Arabia has. So they've been doing phenomenally well, financially speaking, with their oil all this time. So he says he was asked about the low oil prices. So he was assured by his elite friend that this time it was not them who pushed the prices down. The elite, he said, did not do it. He says, if you'll recall, and he showed video images of this taking place on the DVD. Here's an image I want you to see, a video, and it shows Obama meeting the Saudi king and bowing down, subservient. And I remember seeing this on the TV. Fox News was all over. Oh my God, no president to date. These people are supposed to be equal. These are all heads of state. What is he doing? Why is he bowing to the king? He didn't even do that to the Queen of England. Oh my God. And I remember that. That's right. That did happen. And he showed the clips from the news on the DVD. So you could easily find that right now. Just type into YouTube, Obama bowing to Saudi king. I mean, a million videos will probably come up. So he said, Lindsey says that the elite told him that this was payback for Russia and Putin, specifically embarrassing Obama when he went over there. And I thought, I remember that event. Obama went to Russia back when Putin was there, but I think it was when Dmitry Medvedev, may have been the president, or maybe Putin had just taken over. I don't recall, but they were there. And Obama's in line with them, like going down and shaking other high-level government people's hands. Again, you can watch this. You can go find it on YouTube easily. And every time the Russian guys are shaking the other politicians' hands, everyone's shaking, giving a little sign of respect, shake, shake. Obama comes up, no handshake, don't even look him in the face, skip over him. Next person, shake their hand. Then Obama gets to the next person in line, reaches his hand out. They don't look him. They don't even want to. They pretend he's not even there. Skip over him. Next guy. So you see Obama. First time was like, oh, maybe that was an accident. Okay. Next guy. Ignored again. His face goes from to third guy. You can see this in the video. I saw it. I watched it long time ago. Talk about humiliating the president of the United States. That was humiliating. The whole world saw that. So he says, Lindsey Williams, that Obama specifically made a deal with King of Saudi Arabia to smash the price of oil, drop the prices massively, and change their output and all that so that it reflects, oh, the prices are being smashed, all this demand, this and that, which also affects the price that Russia can now get for its oil, which thus caused major problems for them. And then, of course, the currency collapsing. He says that the elite know Obama did this, and they are not happy with him about it because they didn't do it, and he kind of took it upon himself to punish Russia or Putin for embarrassing him. Now, what Lindsey did not say is the specific event that embarrassed Obama. I am assuming when he went over there and the whole world and cameras were on him and he was getting stiffed, don't want to shake your hand, pretending as if he didn't even exist, wouldn't even look at him. Just next, boop, 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 shake hands. What about me? Next, shake hands, someone else. I'm assuming that was the embarrassing event. So, where else are we going with this? The title of the DVD is The New Elite. It refers to the younger, newer elite, not the older guys like Lindsey Williams was familiar with, many of which who have died, many of which who are in their 80s now. The younger bucks are taking over. They understand each other. They're just again, people can't just die off and you can't just let it go away. They've got their younger guys taking over. So that's what he's referring to. They have plans to create a new Bible. In other words, like, I use the King James Version. And that's the one he used, actually. Lindsey Williams said this. He says they plan on creating a new version of the Bible. And he says you can already see, if you look out now, there's already many, many versions of the same Bible that really should be the King James Bible. And now there's different flavors with different definitions, and the words have changed a little bit and things like that. And they plan on continuing that effort. They want a new Bible. They also want a new constitution, which they will just basically do by executive order. And he says, as you can see now, they're already bypassing the Constitution by executive order, and even some of the laws they're passing in Congress. But their weapon of choice is going to be the executive order way of doing it. Because you don't have to get Congress involved at all. You just tell your buddy, Obama, sign this. See ya. Thank you. We're going to see they want new leaders, too. We're going to have new churches. Again, this is their idea, the New World Order idea. New churches, new president coming, of course, new healthcare, new culture, New World Order takeover. Dozens of versions of the Bible have been coming out in recent times. This is part of that plan he's talking about. The devil's Messiah. He used that term a few times ago. He says this has been defined to him as the elite perverting everything in the Bible that we have come to know. That is, again, one of their main plans. They want to pervert everything in the Bible. So there's new meaning, different things. You're going to be saying things and praying different ways, and just, you're never going to have it right. Because they're going to pervert it. And then slowly, like they've done many times before, just push it out, and this is the new thing. Hey, the Catholic Church went around killing massive people all over the face of the earth. Indigenous, peaceful people. Hey, we're here. We're going to build a church right over here. This is the new religion. Do you accept it or not? And by the way, if you don't accept it, you're dead. Many of which said, then kill me. And they did. And I see these shows on TV where they're showing the history of like this ancient Mayan culture or the, Machu Picchu and this and that. Oh, it's funny. There's a church and an obelisk sometimes present. And they talk about the Catholic Church still here too. It was 500 years old and What the hell's the Catholic Church doing at a Mayan or, some other civilization's former area that they lived? And then they show, one of these shows that really blew me away, shows the people today with their same dark skin as if these are tribes people, right? And they act and live the same way. So clearly they are. Going into this little building, church, and there's this Jesus figure enshrined in this little glass, and they're walking up to it and praying and kissing the thing. And it was a practice brought in by the Catholic Church. and they are following it today as if it was the Word of God. And our ancestors did this, so we did this. But the question is, why did your ancestors do it? Because they were forced by the potentially offing of their head taking place, killing them if they didn't accept it. And naturally, well, I've got kids, and who will take care of my kids if I don't convert? Who wouldn't do the same? Well, let's convert. And every Sunday, you're going to come to this church and bring your children. Okay. And then that just becomes common, generation after generation after generation. And then it just becomes, this has been the way of our ancestors for a long time. When in reality, it was the perversion of what they knew at the time by the Catholic Church. Hate to say it, but this is a fact. You can check this out yourself. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care if I just offended you. I'm a Catholic. How dare you? This is a fact. They sent the conquistadors to do this. Look it up. There's no disputing it. So they will bypass the Constitution with executive orders. The cycle I've spoke to you about, that was kind of new to me. That also ties in with September, October 2015, believe it or not. The Shemitah. He says, read a book. He was told by his elite friend, Lindsey. There's a man by the name of Jonathan Cahn. I mentioned this the other day. C-A-H-N. Who wrote a book called The Harbinger. It's about this Shemitah and the cycles and whatnot that end again this year, September, October timeframe. I forget the exact date. I want to say September 28th. Doesn't mean anything as far as if they cause the market to crash 3 days later. I mean, you know what I mean? Just a time frame. He was told to get that book and read it by his friend. And he said he recommends you too get and read that book as well. He then plays a Joe Biden video, I wrote this down, of him talking about this phenomenal New World Order in detail at some venue somewhere outside, and there's a bunch of like Navy or Marines or something, I think it was Navy people behind him, you know, and like some bleachers are standing behind him. I don't know where this took place, but I know it's been on YouTube for sure. And he didn't just talk about, yeah, we want a New World Order, but he's talking to everybody there. You guys have the opportunity to be a part of this New World Order, and goes on to explain the regions, Mexican, the Western continent order, world order, and this and that, and where basically we're going to have a single currency and the trading's going to be fair for all. And, you know, would you believe a lying politician at any time? And the answer is, well, yeah, I did, but let me help you out. For example, Obama, if you voted for him, you believed him because of what he said. So it's not like, well, I believed a lying politician. I believed a politician that I didn't know who spoke words of wisdom that were unbelievable. The changes that we need in this country, unbelievable. He spoke about them all and how he would do it when he got in office. So yeah, I voted for him. And then I saw what happened first term. Nothing changed. Things got worse. Second term got much worse. Passed laws that were incredible. Executive orders that would make your skin, crawl. So yes, I was lied to. However, you didn't know you were lied to at first. Right, if we knew we were going to be lied to up front, why would we vote for somebody? So when I hear someone like Joe Biden, his vice president, by the way, one of the elite, of course, telling you how good it's going to be and how fair it's going to be for everybody, you already know what he's telling us isn't going to be what this New World Order is about at all. But it was a lengthy little clip, and Joe Biden got into some detail. So if you want to hear him, just type it up into YouTube. Joe Biden New World Order speech or NWO speech, something like that. It'll come right up, guarantee it. He says, I was told that the elite were sure, positive, there's going to be divine intervention. Now, as Lindsey has been repeating this over and over and over again, me personally, and I'm sure a lot of you, heard that term, divine intervention. Oh, but Jesus must be coming back, or divine intervention is going to kick in and stop this madness. That's kind of what I have always thought when he used that term, because he never really got into detail of what it meant until he just made the comment in the video last night. And that is, divine intervention is coming. They're positive, the elite. And they refer to this divine intervention person as a bad man. You may refer to him, he says, as the Antichrist or some other term. That's the divine intervention that's coming. And this part was interesting, because you remember Christine Lagarde, head of the IMF, comes out, yeah, I just do what I'm told and say what I'm supposed to say. Yeah. Okay, everybody. So, yeah, listen, I want to get started and talk about first, before we get to business, something like that, the cycles of 7. And numerically speaking, in numerology, 7 is important. It's a very interesting cycle, and And we're all like, what the hell is she talking about? You're from the International Monetary Fund. The hell are you talking about, woman? Cycles of 7, occultism, numbers, numerology, what the? She's letting everyone know, all the club, hey, the cycle of 7, which you should know what that means. Oh yeah, the one coming up, 2015, September, October. Bingo. So I saw this part, and he had a clip from a guy talking about these different blood moons and the cycles and all that. So I wrote down the main message here, right? Only 7 times. Oh, number 7 right off the bat. And this is probably how important this particular 7 cycle is. Only 7 times since Christ have there been this particular type of blood moon cycle that we are experiencing that started last year, and the next blood moon, the third one out of the 4, starts here shortly. And then the final one happens again, September, October timeframe. So only 7 times since Christ has this particular cycle that we are about to experience happened. Cycles of 7, and only 7 times has this occurred so far since Christ. Pretty important. So the full sentence is, only 7 times since Christ have this particular blood moon cycle happened on Jewish holidays, again, Shemitah and other things, like the ones that are happening or going to happen at the end of this year in 2015, September, October. Major events. Again, when this blood moon thing happens, and it happens on Jewish holidays throughout history, and in this particular video clip, he's talking about the events that have happened. Now, I can tell you right now, if you want to go see what these events are, just type in blood moon cycles, historical events, or Shemitah, blood moon cycles, historical events into Google, something like that, and you will be bombarded with enough information. It's not a lot. It's short, but it's short and sweet and to the point, and shows you major worldwide events have happened on these particular blood moon cycle dates when they end, like on the final one, etc., which again happens September, October of this year. He gives several examples that all of us know are factual historic events. History absolutely shows this. So he says, you may hear everyone talking about IS or ISIS, and our president continuously refers to ISIS and doesn't like to use the word ISIS, but he continually says ISIL, ISIL instead of ISIS. And I believe ISIS was the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria or something like that. And he says the ISIL stands for the Islamic State. I think he said Iraq and the Levant. So he says, do you know what the Levant is? He says it's a multinational region in the Middle East, the Levant, the Islamic State of Levant, Iraq and Levant. Levant, if you look specifically in that region, it is Israel. Levant equals Israel. And because of everything that we're talking about spiritually, as he said, this from his mouth, in the blood moon cycles and the fact that major events have happened, and some of those, by the way, absolutely had to do with Israel, he feels, as prophecy, biblical referencing, etc., Israel, the destruction of Israel, is what we're talking about here. So whatever happens in September, October timeframe doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, the destruction of Israel just took place. But this is going to probably be part of the overall things or events that have to happen. So you have to understand something. And his final thing, which I wrote down, which I just want to mention, get gold and silver. Hold on to it, is what he said. Now, I will not sit here and say that I'm going to expect that on the stroke of midnight, September 28th, or whatever their proper date in that time frame is, according to astrological, whatever the hell this is, right? Blood moon, all this stuff. That time frame, let's just say plus or minus 30 days of whatever window. I'm not going to sit here and say that I would expect the massive economic decline, currency collapse, the attack on Israel. Thank God for that mute button, because that would have blew your ears off. I don't think that all of that's going to happen all at once. But could it? Yes. And would it be beneficial to the elite to focus everyone else on, forget your retirement that just got destroyed, forget everything you thought you had that was valuable, it's gone, and you're furious. Your furiousness now changed to, oh my God, World War III looks like it's starting right now. How concerned are you going to be, 401k or the worst world war, known as World War III, coming, getting started, getting the party started potentially? Which one would I care about the most? Money? World War III, entire world's involved. Most likely nuclear weapons and that sort of thing. Ooh, tough one. Yeah, I think I'm going to be more concerned about World War III, which will focus you right away from your 401k and being pissed off there to worrying about that. And then they may unleash, oh, another outbreak. Oh my God, another outbreak. Oh my God, another school shooting. They've got their crisis actors. They did it and they tested it on Sandy Hook. And in their minds, they're successful. They did it at the Boston Marathon bombing. Again, the lady with the fake purse, blood thing coming out of her purse with a hose coming out that you can see clear as day. Spraying it on the ground, fake blood, basically is what that was used for. High-resolution photo shows her laying on the side as if she was injured, and you see the hose coming out of her purse right next to her leg that was drenched with fake blood, because that's why she pretended to be hurt, because they realized her machine that's in her purse is not shutting off, and dumped all of the blood that was in there all over her leg. And now her entire right leg, pants, which she had jeans on, is completely drenched. So she can't just stand around like a bystander with a massively drenched bloodied up leg that would probably kill you because so much blood was lost if it was real life. Now you're going to be a victim. Get over here and lay down, which she did. The next scene, she's laying down, and the guy's got not just a tourniquet like everyone else got, but a huge thing covering up the area so you can't really see the damage too bad, because there is no damage, it's fake blood. And in that photo, oopsie, got a hose sticking out of her purse. Little small hose you can grab with your fingers, easily seen, so you can hold down next to your leg like you're just standing there in case anyone was looking, and let this thing drip all over the ground to make it look like lots of blood was everywhere, and this guy got his legs blown off, and that's why there's so much blood. And the guy that got his legs blown off, show his leg up on a black lady in front of him with a white undershirt who doesn't have any blood on it, not even a drop, as they're putting the fake bone sticking out fake leg on someone who was already an amputee. That was the key. And as the screenshots go by, no blood on this lady's shirt. The man's legs were just blown off, and his leg is against her neck and shoulder. It would be dripping all over her shirt. It is clean. Go look this stuff up yourself if you think I'm crazy. So, imagine all of these types of things just happening, fake or real, to scare you into, oh my God, executive order, I don't let them do it if it means keeping me safe and stopping this. Okay, fine. Oh, more freedom's taken away. I don't care. Keep me secure. But a lot of people ain't going to buy it. Which is why they're going to have people at those banks, armed agents probably, to deal with you who want to break the doors down and get your money out and are told you can't. You're allowed X amount of money on your ATM card per day to get out. and that's it. As a matter of fact, don't think you can go to an ATM machine. You're going to just have to go somewhere and swipe it. And your daily limit, as long as you're buying goods, there isn't really one. But if you need cash out, there will absolutely be a limit. That's how they always go in other countries, and this should be no different. Lindsey Williams did not say this to be factual. He didn't say anything about his elite friend saying this. I'm just telling you what I've already seen in other countries on how they handle things. But this is America. The Russians probably just said that recently. This is Russia. How could our ruble go down 50%? Man, this is Russia. Is Russia a third world country? If you think so, you may need to go check your history a little bit. Right? So I think they'll do a lot of stuff around the same times, periods of time. There's one final thing I'm going to mention that he had not mentioned, period, and probably was never told anything about this. But I know a lot of people have heard the thing, you take a $5 bill, $10 bill, $50 bill, and you fold it in the same exact fashion. 9/11 is seen, the Pentagon is seen, like all these things that you couldn't possibly imagine, by coincidence. And again, if you're the elite and you're doing this and you like to put stuff in plain sight like they do, like in the movies and things, and then it happens later on and we just think, oh, it was a lucky chance by the movie that made the exact image almost identical to what really happened in real life later. That's their way of doing things. There's one image on one of these, I think it's the $50 bill. Every time I say that, I think of the Goonies. Little Chinese Asian kid. $50 bill. $50 bill. Guys, you found the money to save the Boondocks. $50 bill. But all kidding aside, I believe it's the $50 bill. Same shape forming as the rest of them. And it shows what looks like the Hoover Dam bursting and overflowing massively. And I did a little research on that, anything on there. And there is some very disturbing monuments and things literally at the Hoover Dam that you as a tourist could walk across the thing and look at. Satanic gargoyle looking things, weird, a bunch of stuff. And I thought, oh, they may just blame it, right? We're going to collapse the economy and we're going to pretend we were attacked by Syria, Iran, make up whoever you want. They bombed the Hoover Dam. This is an act of war. Blah, blah, blah. When in reality, the same club did it like they always do throughout history to maintain control, enforce, again, their New World Order right in front of us. Hold on. Get this. Thank God I didn't end this video. There's a movie coming out this year, I believe June or July. Dwayne, whatever his last name is, The Rock, the wrestler The Rock. Now he's kind of a movie star, right? I can't think of the name. It comes out this July or June, somewhere around there. I don't know what his title is, what he does in the movie, what his role is. I forget. But he's at one point up in a helicopter. Like, I don't know if he's like a news reporter kind of thing. I don't know. And some kind of massive event has happened in America. Destruction. I don't remember if it was as if like something, a comet hit the ocean and caused a tidal wave or a terrorist attack. I don't remember what the theme was. But the Hoover Dam is completely destroyed, spilling over massively, causing unbelievable devastation. I thought to myself, because that movie preview had not been out when the $50 bill and other videos regarding the weird stuff at the Hoover Dam, satanic symbolism, all that stuff had come out, which is at least 2-3 years ago. So that's interesting, right? They put it in your face to tell you. Remember the Batman map on the movie Batman? Sandy Hook X mark as one of the spots of the target, the bad guy's map. And then after the movie comes out, Sandy Hook, it was fake, right? Sandy Hook was a false flag. Wasn't no Adam Lanza. Complete sham. Again, I don't care if you believe me or think this is nonsense or whatever. You can research the stuff yourself. All I'm telling you is they put it in the movies like he said, and this is in the movie, and it is interesting. So that's all I got for you. Take care.